Let us start. Let us start today's discussion about the fuel and fixed cost and its depreciation itself. Question is, I have discussed about the fixed cost. What is the fixed cost contents of annual cost like interest, depreciation, insurance, tax on property, and estimated income in calculating as a percentage of capital investment. So, what is fixed cost? I have told you there are certain costs which is invariable, whether the company have to bear, company or college has to bear, whether it is running or producing anything or not. Say the depreciated value which is deteriorating day by day for all your assets, interest which we have borrowed, each interest of the money which we have borrowed from the bank or other financial institutes, the insurance which you are supposed to maintain for your company's different assets, and whatever you do or not do, you have to pay the tax for the property. You have to pay the tax for the property and estimated income, property and estimated income. You have to pay the tax whether you have earned it or not. But it's a is supposed to be calculated as a percentage of the capital investment. Whether you make any output or not, that you have to give the income tax accordingly. Now, this is the financial burden which remains the fixed cost, but this is not overhead. Overhead includes the money, wages, and say power tariffs, water tariffs. All these things are included in the overhead, which generally occurs if the plant operates in certain rest. Even if the plant operates and it doesn't produce anything due to some other reason, this we have to pay these overheads also, because we are bringing the people who have to pay. You have to use certain amount of electricity which for which you have to pay, and you have to use a certain amount of water which for which you have to pay the municipality. Now this is called overhead, but interest rates at depends on the general finance conditions. What is the conditions at the time of construction and at the source of finding international, national, public, private, and bond issues. So interest rates varies from from the time to time, from your source of funding. This funding you can take from the local banking, but local or national banks, or local or national or international public bonding, private bonding agencies, international agencies, all these things. Everywhere, the interest source depends totally on the finance from where you have got your finance itself. Sometimes due to the inflation, what is because what is the the meaning of inflation is the decrease in the value of the actual value of the money, means decrease in the value of the buying power of the money itself. The concept of real and change interest has been proposed. So interest rates may also change accordingly. The concept of real and interest and change interest rate will is slightly different, because if there is inflation is going on, the value of money is going down. For the same interest rate, you have to pay more. That is the irony, but it is the mandatory rule. See, the real rate is fixed at 10% and price inflation of 79% per year is a forecast. The changing interest rate may go up to 17%. So 7% inflation, you have to pay 17% interest. You have to, in case of 10%. That too also on the estimated value. It cannot be fully calculated, but you have to pay according to the estimated value. But of course, there may be certain relaxation in certain period, but more or less you have to pay at least 14 to 15% interest for even for your inflation itself. That's a totally loss from your side. Now, what is the depreciation D? Are determined by the expectancy of the equipment, life expectancy of the equipment, method used for calculating the depreciation. Depreciation, I've told you, for a, any machineries, even for a total plant, total assemble plant, or a part of the assemble plant, you have to pay. There is a depreciation rate. What is the mean term depreciation rate? What is the meaning of this depreciation rate? Uh, it is assumed that you are using your plant or equipments for a certain period of time, period of useful life. Every equipment, every plant has an estimated useful life, say for 10 years, say for 15 years, say for 20 years. And based on its useful life, you have to calculate its depreciation. Means, you see, for a machine has a value of certain amount for the at the beginning of his production or the beginning of his use, but after 1 years of use, his production is value falls to a certain extent, certain predetermined and calculated condition. So everywhere that years pass by, your machine's value is falling, so your depreciation is going on increasing. That's the financial burden company is supposed to take. And when after a certain time, when depreciation period is totally over but machine is totally useful, there is no depreciation for the machine at that moment. So it depends totally on depreciation rate. D totally depends on the life expectancy of the equipment and method used for calculating the depreciation, how we are doing it, and most important is the life expectancy of the equipment. The power plant and equipment in the station have a certain period of useful life, like everything, every equipments which are used, even a lathe, a milling machine, or even a certain table used in the in your office, or even uh, in your college, has certain depreciation value, because it is being used, its value is reducing day by day and year after year. After years of use, the equipment losses its efficiency or become obsolete and need replacement. Actually, Actually, the depreciation value is being made or carried like this. So you have to put that amount in the reserve or in the savings. They have the per year depreciated value, with the idea that the machine is reducing its life, reduced used and used in day by day, year after year, and after sometimes it will becomes totally useless, and after sometimes you have to replace, or it's maybe obsolete. You have the better machine comes in the machine for the same product, you have to purchase that for your economic. So but how you will get the product, how you will get the price itself for replacement? You have to keep the flight in the depreciation fund, so that you can replace the machines and there will be no dearth of money at the time of replacement. Just 1 second. Stop share. Participants. Projection. Participants 15. Now, sometimes sometimes the equipment may have to change even when it is fairly new. If more efficient machineries has come into material market, this is to be done when necessary, but some mine is put aside annually and is now known as depreciated fund or depreciation account. So things are very clear. A machine which is being used is deteriorating, or deteriorating due to its use, its life is deteriorated, and after sometimes it may be useless, or after sometimes it can be, we have to replace the machine with a new one, even when the machine is operating well. For everything, when the machine is just deteriorated, needs replacement, or machine has a better version needs replacement, all needs money. Well, get the money to, in order to have the money at the time of need, we have to make a depreciation fund, which or depreciation account, a certain money per year, a calculated value of certain money is being put aside and kept in that fund itself. Now, there are two methods of accumulating money for depreciation. There are two ways of making it. One is called straight line method, and sinking. Second is called sinking fund method. That is straight line method, and second is shrinking fund method. What is straight line method is what? It is based on the assumption that the depreciation can uniformly occur every year on a straight line law. The money serves neglects any interest. Money separated or money saved is neglect any sort of interest itself. If A is the capital cost of the equipment, G is the salvage value after n useful years, then the depreciation charge per year is supposed to be, say, capital cost minus the salvage value divided by number of year of use. And D is the depreciated value straight line on annual. First is the capital cost, how much you have paid uh, for his purchase, and G, what is the salvage value when you want to sell it after say fully using it for so many years? What is the salvage value you are getting? Then A minus G divided by 8, the number of year you have used before you want to sell it like this. So first you have to estimate what will be the number of years, this n, because at the starting of the using of the machine, and next you have to use that if that n year is extended, I mean n number of year is spent, and still you are using the machine, and you don't want to replace the machine, it is not required to be replaced because its quality is still good. Then you all this depreciated fund which you have accumulated throughout these years, it should be kept in your hand for better and further investment. It's also possible. So you can run the machine when it has no depreciated value or not, don't have any salvage value itself. If its condition is really well, and if you can maintain it in that way. Next is, so this is the percentage. This is the percentage of initial value. This is the percentage of useful years, and this above figure, what is given in the ordinate percentage of initial value, and about the axis of percentage of useful value in years. So here, if you from 100% value, if the value drops and say depreciation at 50% of value, what is the useful years? Say 50 years. Percentage of useful years 50% means total it is 100% useful years. Say you have estimated a number of years for your student. It is plotted here not as number of years but as a percentage of the year, which is 100% year utilization, and at 50% means half of the year, what will be the depreciation value will get from this chart itself. And this 15% we are assuming the value of the total machine, 15% of it will be available when you will sell it. So we put it 15% as salvage value at the point n itself. So the straight line is drawn from B, which is 100% when machine starts using it, and reach at E, a main machine after, so it is now almost 10% of the initial value. Then 50%, it is almost around 15% of the initial value. So it is leveling, and full life is expected. Say for 10 years, you have estimated the full life. After completion of 10 years, the machine's value is reduced to 15% of its initial value, which you can sell as a salvage value itself. This is the straight line method itself. Above figure illustrates this simple straight line method of accumulating the distributed region. This is seen that value of the equipment, which was 100% initially, which is here, depreciates only to 15%, means 1 lakh rupees, a value of 1 lakh, say machines of 1 lakh rupees, refers to only 50,000 rupees. This is the depreciation value at the end of, say, you've told that 100% of useful life. Say your useful life is 10 years. After using it for 10 years, its value will then become only 15,000 instead of 1 lakh. uh, this straight line B is there, indicates the depreciation itself, and from the straight line you can know the value of the depreciation if you draw a vertical, but, as per the percentage of your utilization of the years. When it reach, you will get from here. You will know the percentage of initial value, and that is the value of the machine at that moment. And remaining value you have to keep on your depreciation fund or account to make enable its replacement when you have to when you have to sell it after 15 years of use or so. The straight line B indicates the depreciation, and slope of this straight line because is the rate with which this plant depreciates. The slope of this line is important because it is the rate at which this particular plant, maybe a full plant, is depreciating. How much it is losing its value, and it depends entirely on the technical life of the particular machine itself. All machines may not have the same depreciated value. Some have better life, some have less life. That we have to extend as per the your technical knowledge, as per the guarantees of the machines you are used when you are purchasing or assembling, and depends on everything. You have to find out the number of years of expectancy, and on this year of expectancy, every value of percentage of depreciation is being calculated, and you have to keep the fund separately for at the end of each period. Then the depreciation at the end of 50% of useful life is FG. This is here, from here to here, the depreciated life, and the total depreciation at the 100% is useful at the value of CJ. Total depreciation is at the end of 100% of value is CJ. So depreciated value from here you have to calculate from the top, from B, with the number of here from the top here you have to calculate here the number of percentage of the year of the total life, say 25%. It will drop a line here from in 25%. You'll get the appreciated value, percent of the depreciated of the initial value, which you have to keep aside for depreciation. And total value from C to E is the total depreciated value, and when there is no other depreciation left and only you have the salvage value of the machine, this is available from C to F. And all these things are depends on the slope of the line itself, because rate at which this depreciation is going on is given by the slope itself. The line AD, better I move it here. 14, 16, 15. Now the line AD represent the depreciation reserve to be accurate, so that at the end of the useful life, the total is TJ. So at the end of life, this is reserved from the depreciating fund. This line AD is being drawn from the point A when this where the life expectancy is zero. I mean, there is 0% means at the initial starting of the machine, and this is reached at D when the total end of the total life is being used. Total at the end of the useful life, which is on this 100% life, means 100% of your expected life has been spent. So it is reached here at D. So this is the value of reserve, which is equal to the total depreciation CE. The total depreciation from here to here is CE, and D to J is also equal to, which is also equal to the total depreciation value from here to here. So CE is equal to D into J. We are having the depreciation fund from here. The amount of reserve from the depreciation fund should be supposed to be available for this line. Both will be equal when at this time of, at this time life is, if life is being finished. Next is the sinking fund method. Let's say sum of money. Stop. In the sinking fund method, what we do, a sum of money is set aside for every year for n years. Means n is the number of life we have expected or calculated, and invested again to earn compound interest. Let us suppose P. So what is doing in sinking fund? In our straight line method, we are not doing anything with the fund itself except keep it as a reserve itself. But here we are spending, yes, is saving the money and invest it into certain interest, maybe with the bank, maybe with certain, with maybe private essential house with certain interest, and this money is being deposited every year, and it is not withdrawn at any moment before it's used, and it is, we are getting the compound interest from it. This is the estimation sum of money. What will be the sum of money that we have to estimate and calculate according to the life and expectancy of life of the machine itself? So, but that's also a cost you are bearing. You have to keep this sum aside from your own earning, and you have to keep it invested in proper places so that you get highest interest and uh, without any loss of the such money itself. Now, let us suppose P is the annual deposit and I is the interest compounded annually by the deposit interest rate. So for first you have to deposit the amount of money equal to P, and you know why I is the rate of interest which is started at the time of investment, which is compounded annually when the deposit is invested. Now, at the end of first year, rupees P is deposited. After n minus 1 years, it will be what compounded annually is equal to P multiplied by 1 minus I to the power n minus 1, where I is the rate of interest, 1 plus I, and n is the number of years we have estimated for the life of the machine itself. So when the year is first year, this n will be 1, and we'll get n will be, this portion will be equal to, this suffix will be equal to 0, then x to the power 0 is equal to 1. So value of the machine remains as it is. At the end of second year, this is 1 plus P into 1 plus I, because if you put second to here, it will be only 1 itself. Then sum plus sum invested plus its interest, it is the value. Now, after n minus 2 years, this will be what rupees P is equal to 1 plus I into n minus 2. At the end of n minus d years, the P is deposited. After 1 year, this will what with P plus I. So at the end of n minus 1 years, the P rupees P, and after 1 year, this will be P just 1 by I. At the end of nth year, the rupees, net rupees deposited after 1%, and this will be what rupees 1 plus I to the power, say for 10 years is equal to 9. So interest will be compounded, multiplied to the power 9 itself. Interest says 10% interest we are getting, then this will be 1 plus 1 multiplied to the power, say 10 years, it will be to the power 9. So the amount of the amount should be multiplied by the investment, amount of investment which you are doing per year, and so you'll get at the end of 1 year the value of the sum of the deposit will be like this: P 1 plus I n minus 1 n minus 2, and so P 1 plus I plus P. This is for the final year, this is for the initial year, and this becomes a equation like this. This is a geometric projection. This is the GP, geometric position with a common ratio of interest R is equal to 1 plus I. So sum is P into 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I itself. This sum is always equal to A dash, A minus G dash, capital into cost minus salvage value. So the capital cost minus salvage value, this is equal to P A into A dash into I, A dash into I 1 plus I into n minus 1. The sinking method can also be represented by a diagram as shown in the figure in the next page. The curve AHD shows the sinking fund accumulated at a certain rate of compound interest. Just I'm showing you there. Show you. A total amount at the end of the useful year is given by JD, which is shown here in this figure. What is this? Percentage of the useful life in years. So 0, 25, 0, 25, 50, 75, 100%. This is a percentage, not the year, the percentage of year. 100% maybe 10 years, then 75% will be 7.5 years, and so 50% is the 5 years, and 2.5 years is the 25% of the expected year. And this is the percentage of initial value. It is 100% when at the beginning, machine is started, and 25% after spending so many years. It is slowly reducing, and value becomes 25%, and 15% will be the surface value. Then after 100 years, so 100% of its use, its value will become 15%. What we are having, the total amount at the end of the useful fund is given by the firm JD. From this is the firm, it's a total firm at the it is the total is the amount of that at the end of the useful life is given by JD, which is the annual initial cost minus the salvage value itself. JD, so this is also equal to, here also it is equal to CE, which is initial investment minus the salvage value. So here is also C and is equal to D itself. Now it is same as straight line method, but the final sum consists of annual installation plus the amount plus the compound interest on all the installment at the end of the whole period. JD is equal to CE. So this is all same, but here this curve is there because it is varying not in a straight line but by means of a hypothetical manner. So it is moving from J100 to from B to E, and it is also like a depreciation fund is increased from 0 to O to D. So life is reduced, depreciated by from B to E, and the depreciation fund goes from 0 to D. So the amount of fund which is grown here is equal to D to J, which is equal to C to E, which is equal to C to E. This is the amount we have kept aside and used to as a compound interest for to calculate the depreciation value itself. The depreciation at the 50% useful life can be shown by FG, and while the sinking fund sets at least at the rate of 50% useful life is in by HI. So, for the sake of calculation, we can find if it's our monetary saving is going in proper way. So you have to say that. So you have to make this portion HI is equal to FG, and calculating the value, all this value at the 50% or half of the life we spend. The amount which should be set aside annually is given by the equation P A dash I A, 1 plus I n minus 1. A is the P is the amount, actual payment to the payment sinking fund, the actual annual payment to the sinking fund, initial value minus salvage value, multiplied by I, 1 plus I. So the A dash is the initial value minus salvage value, estimated salvage value, minus multiplied by the rate of interest divided by 1 pi I into n minus 1, where n is the expected life of the machine itself in terms of year, or in terms of year itself. And I is an annual rate of compound interest, and n is the expected life, just have told you, or the number of years over which the total amount of depreciation is supposed to be set. So we have to decide what will be the number of year of expectancy and what can be the value of I, which is the best value of interest which you'll get from your financial institute, over which you can keep this annual investment fund itself. Now, let us go for another cost itself. The fuel consumptions cost. What fuel cost? The fuel consumption is depends on the amount of electrical energy you are producing. As the load on the prime mover increasing, load of the prime mover increases, the fuel consumption increases, and so does the cost. So how much you are spending the on the fuel? Maybe per day, maybe per month, maybe per year. The load on the prime mover increases, the fuel consumption increases, and so does the cost itself. The efficiency 14, 17. The efficiency prime mover, the efficiency of the prime mover is the highest at the rated load. So first you have to find out the prime mover. First of all, the efficiency prime mover, which is generating power for you. Prime mover is the equipment which generates power by practically converting the available energy to your useful energy itself. So, what is the what is the efficiency of the prime mover? Is the highest, what is the highest at the rated load. So in what load will get the maximum efficiency prime mover, which means you have to put less amount of input energy and you get the maximum amount of energy from the prime mover at which load. Load can be more than that, load can be less than that, but we have to find out the economic load itself. As your load on the prime mover is increasing, the fuel it is consuming more and more fuel, and so it is having less and less cost itself. It is spending more and more money over as the cost. So you have to find out the most economic load at the rated load. At lower, the efficiency decreases, and so the fuel consumption also increases. But if the load, but you have to spend a certain amount of fuel. But if your efficiency decreases, you can convert much less of it into useful work. So you are at a loss. That fuel consumption goes on increasing. The cost of the electricity generation is minimum at the rated load, and it increases as the load decreases itself. The cost also depends on the calorific value, availability, and transport changes itself. Just 1 second, please. Hmm. So the fuel consumption increases. Therefore, the cost of electricity generation is minimum at rated load, and it increases as the load decreases. Cost of electricity generation is minimum at rated load, and it increases as the load decreases. So the cost of fuel also depends on the calorie value available at the transportation changes. So what is the calorie value of a fuel of coals which we are using in our power plants? It varies from source to source. So what is the maximum calorie value means how much the maximum amount of heat it is producing per unit of its per kg or per ton. It is important to know for the efficiency of the plant itself. And the availability of this plant also important. And because if you have to get it imported, then your cost will go up, and your if betterment in the efficiency of using it will not available at all. But it may so happen the coal should be can be some of them is some for the total annual budget of the coal. If some of them can be brought from the local market and local sources, or some of them can be brought from the imported sources, so that efficiency cost can be balanced by getting the electricity generation at rated load itself. Now, the effect of load factor on cost. The fixed cost, you see, what you have told the fixed cost, say annual interest, depreciation, and annual investment, everything, these are proportional to the development of megawatt capacity of a plant. Once you have spent so money for installation, and against this money, how much you are producing and how much you are earning itself. While the opening costs are proportional to the total energy produced by the plant, steam plant annually, the fixed cost remains the same whether the station is running or idle. Fixed cost, say annual investment, what you have done remains same. The rate of interest which you are paying remains same. Depreciated value, even if you don't use the machine at all, you cannot keep the depreciated value, depreciated fund idle. You have to pay them each and every year. This is as per rule. And if the total opening costs are proportional and the station is running or idle, the fuel consumption and operating cost will, however, vary with the load itself. At say 100% load factor, the installed capacity is utilized to the best possible. If load factor is 100%, means amount of load we are applying is 100% of the capacity, installed capacity is best utilized, the best possible extent, and maximum possible amount of energy is being generated during the year. But the cost per kilowatt is thus minimum in this case. The cost plus kilowatt is thus minimum in this case. When the load factor is lower than 100%, less energy is produced, giving a higher cost per kilowatt hours. So if you 100%, you get the maximum efficiency with the same input. But if it cannot produce 100%, it will electricity will be produced at higher cost, because your inputs means all your fixed costs as well as fuel costs remains more or less same. But no machines, no equipments can be 100% efficient. So to up to a certain extent, you will get the maximum efficiency, and you have to rate it your price accordingly. The less energy is produced, giving a higher cost per kilowatt hour. Since the non-varying fixed cost and lower operating costs are distributed over the fewer kilowatt generated, so whatever, if your generation is less, so your fixed cost, your operating cost, your overheads, all are distributed over the fewer kilowatts. So its value will go up, increasing. As the load factor decreases, the cost per kilowatt hour increases itself. So what is shown here? The effect of load factor on cost energy. This is 20 effect of cost of energy. Cost of energy per kilowatt in pies. This is the per kilowatt. It is the value of the energy, and load factor is higher and higher. Your cost per kilowatt is decreasing from 125% to 125 pies to 25 paisa only. The generation of power must be regulated according to the demand and governing if necessary to achieve the same. A power plant always required to respond quickly to the load without any change in velocity or uh, frequency. So, the, if the load changes, your plant should immediately respond to it and fulfill your demand. When the load on the generator increases, fast effect will be reduce the speed of the rotor motor and hence the frequency. With the decrease in the speed of the prime mover due to increase in load, the governor must act eliminating more fuel and more air in case of and the case of them at plants and more water on the case of hydro plants. Enough to bring the speed back to the normal and pick up the load itself. The frequency satisfied to increase the maintain the frequency constant is also necessary to keep increasing capacity of the plant. So what is going on here? Sometimes the load changes, sometimes may go up, may down according to the need, and your plant should be immediately responded to it. And by reducing the, if the load increases, the speed of the generator, the speed of the generator increases itself, then first fuel, the speed of the first, you have to reduce the speed of the rotor and hence the frequency with the decrease in speed of the prime mover due to increase in load of the, on the generator itself. The governor must act immediately to get more fuel and more air in case of them at the plant so that more wattage and more wattage is generated, and in case of plant hydel plant more water should be drawn so that more energy is being produced there. The frequency stabilizes is increased to maintain the frequency constant, and it is also necessary to keep necessary capacity of the plant to meet the peaking load itself. Well, with this, I have finished the chapter on the load of the plant itself. In the next variable load problem, in the next case, next time I will go for steam power plant from the next classes. Thanks for coming and goodbye.